What is going on, guys? This is Miasin. So around 3 months ago, I've made a video on the Earthbound Immortal FTK deck featuring the Runic engine. You know, that engine just gives you a bunch of draws, a bunch of bodies that you can use for synchro summoning. So it goes without saying that it's just usually very nice to splash in a bunch of decks that can summon a bunch of bodies, including tutor monsters, because it's nice to be able to go into Coral Dragon and then climb up into a Baron de Fleur and then keep comboing off and be just completely immune to most hand traps. And this deck just does it very, very well. So yeah, today I'll show you guys my own take on this deck. I know that Joshua Schmidt made a few videos on it, but I haven't watched any of them, so I have no idea what he's trying to do. But again, I was already familiar with the concept of the deck because I've made a video back several months ago with both engines in the deck. It's just that instead of making big boards, I was FTKing people left and right. But since my friends asked me to make a video on this, here I am delivering today. But anyways, before we proceed, because I've got a few combos and a deck profile to show you guys, I would really appreciate if you could smash the like and subscribe button for me real quick. It really motivates me a lot to keep making videos like these. Thank you so much, you're the best, and now let's get right into it. Alright, so combo number one, as you can see, I have the Earthbound Prisoner, Groundkeeper, the one-card starter, as well as a bunch of Runic cards. So the way I'm going to play it out is Runic Tip is going to be special summoning on the standby phase. Alternatively, you could also use it to search the fountain so that if your Hugin gets like stopped, you can keep laying. But I mean, you can also summon like another Hugin, so it's not even that relevant. The reason why I'm discarding the tips is because I have two, and I don't want to use the effect of search, so I have to wait, like burn the effect of special or just use another Runic cards, because if I draw into more Runic cards, I want all of them to be live. So that's the reason why when you're playing Runic cards to like extend, you want to play as many different names as possible. Like even the bad ones, you can still play one of them. But yeah, I'm gonna be searching my fountain. This is just assuming that I get no, I don't get interrupted, but on the next combo, yeah, we are going to be getting hit a little bit. But anyways, I'm going to be special summoning this card right here, the Prisoner Linewalker. It's a level 3 tuner, and it has a completely irrelevant effect if you want to play like a Garnet. And the other graveyard effect is also kind of irrelevant. But yeah, anyway, Synchro Summon for Garden Rose Maiden. I already showcased this in my last video. Search the Black Garden and then go for Coral Dragon. Go for the Fountain and then special summon your Gary. This is only the kind of thing that really works really well when you got a bunch of Runic cards. But there are still ways to play even without a Runic engine, or at least without a lot of them. Anyways, the Fountain will be getting you some draws, which is the reason why this just makes so much sense. And also, Coral Dragon gets you a draw. This is ridiculous. This is also very nice, the fact that Earthbound Prisoner Stone Sweeper doesn't only search the Prisoner Groundkeeper. You can search any Fiend monster that is level 3 or lower that's a tuner. So there are a bunch of really nice targets. But anyways, replace my field spell with Black Garden. And then I'm also playing a Bestial package in this deck, so I'm going to be searching the Magnamode with the Lubellion. And then banish, very specifically, the Linewalker. There is a reason why we're doing that with the Magnamut, and then use the effect, of course. Black Garden gives a token to my opponent. This is mandatory. And then summon back the Lubellion. And you really have to be aware of how you're using Black Garden, because if you want to use the effect to target a monster in your grave, you gotta destroy all the plants on the field, and then you have to revive back a monster from the grave whose attack matches exactly the sum of the attack of every single plant monster on the board. The reason why I'm not playing Harmonic Synchro Fusion with Prisoner Linewalker is that the only good thing I can do is summon Dragos Tapelia, but that doesn't really help me out because Dragos Tapelia is a plant and it clashes with Black Garden, so that's why even in testing, it was just a win more, and it was a bad win more. Like, it wasn't even making my board any better because now it was just like blocking Black Garden from being able to be used. Anyways, now I'm going to be getting my my Branded Regain with the Lubellion, and Black Garden will use this effect to revive back the Garden Rose Maiden, and this is where it gets really interesting. So again, I've also showcased this in my FTK video. I was also playing a a Resonator package, but it's only Vision Resonator, as well as Crimson Gaia. So yeah, you can special summon it when there's a level 5 or higher Dark monster on the field, and then I'm going to be Synchro Summoning for Bestial Dispouter. And the Vision Resonator will be getting the search for the Crimson Gaia. And then Dispouter revive back the Linewalker from the banish. That's the reason why we special summon that one specifically. Well, we banished that one with the Magnamut because now we got a level 3 tuner, and we can use a 3 and a 5 to make an 8. And that's going to be the Axel Synchro Starter's Dragon, so that we can revive back the level 2 tuner, which is Vision Resonator. And now we can Synchro Summon it to Chang'Ying. Garden Rose Maiden, revive back the Coral Dragon. That's a very nice interaction. And then the Regain will be getting us a draw because we banished the Rose Maiden. And we're going to be going for another Runic spell with the Fountain. And then Chainlink 1, Fountain, draw 1 card. Chainlink 2, Gary, recycle back the other Fountain, so we draw a card. And then we can go for the IJ Jimmy or Ijirin. activate the Crimson Gaia, get the Recycle back, because this also searches from the graveyard or the deck to the hand. So even if you've got only one Vision Resonator and one Crimson Gaia, the engine still works perfectly fine. And then on the end phase, we get to the search from the Magnum Mode. So this is ridiculous. How are you losing with this? We've got an Omni Negate, we've got the protection from all of our cards, and we can quick effect banish a card upon the controls when we're responding to something, which is kind of insane. Like, this card is just stupid if you can summon it. It's so unfair. And all of our monsters cannot be destroyed or banished by our opponent's card effects this turn. And then Cheng Ying cannot be destroyed by card effect already, but if it would get banished, if it would get destroyed, it can be destroyed by card effect, but if it would, you banish a card from the grave instead. And if a card gets banished, you can banish a card from your opponent's field and graveyard. So the Bestials are really nice because they can proactively trigger the Cheng Ying instead of having to rely on things. And then the Bestial Dispatter, of course, is an interruption because if you're trying to shuffle back your own banished card into the deck, you, I believe, are destroying an opponent's monster when he's using its effect. Or if you're shuffling back an opponent's banished card, then you're negating the effect of a monster. So Dispatter can go both ways. And also, if the Dispatter goes to the grave, you can revive back with a regained. So that's another very nice interaction. So we got 6 cards in hand, even with an Ash, but that's kind of irrelevant. It's gonna happen every now and then, but yo, come on. Like, this is like 6 interruptions or something. Like an Omni Negate, a Banish, another Banish, a Negate or a Destroy, and then a Decro, an Ash. And also, we got the Runic Tip into like Flashing Fire, Freezing Curses, or whatever. This is insane. Alrighty, so combo number 2, my hand is clearly less good. This Veiler, just disregard it. We'll just assume that I'm gonna be getting Veilered on the Hugin, but whatever. So we'll proceed to main phase because there's no reason to go Hugin on draw phase. I really want to be able to discard the Vision Resonator with the Hugin, because otherwise this Stone Sweeper is not going to be doing too much. And there's also less to discard. But yeah, the Hugin is going to be discarding, like I said, the Vision. And then I'm not going to be getting my Fountain Search. We'll just assume that this happens so that I can show you how you can play even when you're not relying on the Runic Engine. We're going to be special summoning the Line Walker off of the Groundkeeper. And then still the same thing, so Garden Rose Maiden, search for the Black Garden, and then Synchro into Manadome Trilosogda. This is insane. It's one of your best friends when things don't go your way. So you really have to understand how to play with this card. But yeah, you're going to be getting back the Vision Resonator and give 2 tokens to your opponent because we summon 2 monsters under Black Garden. And then we have to use Black Garden right away, so revive back the Garden Rose Maiden. And then we destroy the Black Garden, Lubalion effect, search the Magnamut, and then Magnamut banish the Line Walker again. So you can already guess that this is going to be the exact same setup. So you get the regained, and then go for the Spatter, revive back the Line Walker, and then Synchro Summon into Axial Synchro Stardust. Every path leads to Rome. This is insane. I go for a Baron de Fleur, revive back the Axial Synchro with the Garden Rose Maiden. So I got myself a level 8 and a level 6 monster, and I'm going to be getting a draw, and I'm going to be going for the Crimson Gaia in order to recycle back the Vision Resonator. I believe I never special summoned it because I discarded it. Yeah, Flashing Fire is going to be special summoning the Gary from the extra deck, and then summon the Vision Resonator. Use the Gary as well as the Chulosogda, so a level 6 tuner just like Coral Dragon, in order to make the Chaos Angel. This is a light and dark Chaos Angel, so all of my monsters are unaffected by opponents' activated effects, and all of my monsters, well, all my synchros, but they're all synchros, and all of my monsters are indestructible by battle. All of your cards are just like impossible to out, and we're making a Cheng Ying, and we're getting the end phase search off of Magnamut. This was without having to rely on Runic Fountain and get a bunch of draws. So yeah, even when you're playing really just with like Bestial cards, the Resonator and the Earthbound cards, you can still put up a lot. I mean, I use like 2 Runic cards just to summon like Hugin and Gary, but I didn't, again, rely on the draws from Runic Fountain because I was never able to get there. So yeah, this deck is not a gimmick. It's actually legit. If you know how to play this deck correctly, you should be doing well, honestly, with it. But yeah, that's all I had for this combo. Let's get into the deck profile now. Alrighty, so for the deck list, again, I'm trying to keep it as clean and minimalistic as possible. I'm not playing that many hand traps, but I'm still trying to play some Bestials, obviously, with Ash, because it's just the most generic one. I guess moving forward in the fire format, Ash is going to be obviously less good, but it is what it is. It's still good against everyone else, so that's the reason why it still has to be there. Bestials are the reason why the Labyrinth matchup is an absolute joke for you. It's like, it's really hard to lose it, because the Runic cards are good against Labyrinth, and the Bestials are good against Labyrinth, and Ash is good against Labyrinth, so you got infinite ways of applying pressure against them. So Labyrinth is free. I want to say Despia is also a very good matchup, because again, Bestials and Ash. And then Silent Forcer should be fine. You also have ways of beating them. So yeah, now honestly, again, like, you only really have to be aware of the fire decks, but this is why the side deck is going to carry. Anyways, 3 Lubellion as well as one of each of the Bestial monsters. I just wanted a lot of diversity because they're all easy, somewhat easy to access, as long as you've got Lubellion, of course. So Ronir is the only one that's different from the others because instead of hurting your opponent, it helps you out. I mean, Magnabot also kind of helps you out. It depends on how we see it. 7 Bestial monsters as well as the 1 regained. I don't think I really want to go for 2 regain because I don't want to give like too much importance to the Bestial engine. It's just like secondary to me because there's just so many engines that I don't really want to prioritize necessarily one over the other. I mean, no, that's not true. Actually, the Runic engine always takes the cake. And in second place would be the Earthbound package. And then the Bestials are like the least important. Yeah, anyways, for the Earthbound monsters, 3 Stone Sweeper, so this card has 2 effects. So the first one, again, you discard it from the hand and then search your deck for a level 3 lower Fiend Tuner monster. And then you are locked under Synchro and Fusion only, which is the reason why our extra deck has 5 fusions, 9 Synchros, and then 1 Link monster. And also, if you got a Tuner monster, you can special summon it from the hand for free. So that's kind of not really relevant because it's a level 5 non-tuner, and it's really hard to get like a good tuner that you want, but the Groundkeeper is one of them, so you can make either Trilusogda or Coral Dragon, and then you play from there. So it's really not too bad, but we're not playing like odd level Synchro monsters, so I guess that was my issue here. Anyways, 3 Groundkeeper, this is one of the best cards in the deck. And also, if this gets stopped and you hard draw like a Stone Sweeper, then you can keep playing, which is really nice actually. This deck is very resilient. And then the Garnet, the Line Walker, it's not really a Garnet because you can still summon it from, never mind. You can summon it from the grave though. So if you draw it, you discard it with a Hugin, and it's the exact same combo. So it's a Garnet that isn't a Garnet. So as long as you, just draw a Runic card, just be good, bro. Anyways, one of each of the Vision Resonator and Crimson Gaia. Obviously, I already explained that. As well as 1 Black Garden, which you're always searching with a Garden Rose Maiden. By the way, this card searches Black Garden from your deck or graveyard to your hand. And not necessarily on Synchro Summon, but on Special Summon. So you can cheat this card out or whatever. Or summon it, like revive it back with a Dispatter. And then you can recycle back a Black Garden from the graveyard to the hand. So, Black Garden is not a Garnet. You can draw it, and it's just going to be a free discard fodder, which I actually think is very interesting. So, you really have to take all that into consideration. Like, all these cards, I mean, outside of the Crimson Gaia, but Vision Resonator, you can discard it and then still use it, because, again, you're searching Crimson Gaia, which recycles back from the graveyard to the hand. And then the Line Walker, you can revive back from the grave, and the Black Garden, you can also recycle back from the graveyard to the hand using Garden Rose Maiden. So, this deck has a lot of recyclability, especially when we're factoring in Regained as well as Runic Fountain. This deck never runs out of gas. You're always shuffling back stuff into the deck and drawing a bunch of cards. You got Regained to draw, you got the Runic Fountain to draw, and yeah, I think that's it. Oh, actually, no, Coral Dragon, there we go. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else that draws, but still, yo, we can't complain. We can't ask for more realistically. This deck's already nice like that. For the runic spells, I'm playing 17 quick play spell cards, so 3 Slumber because this one is really proactive. Even if you got a monster in the EMZ, you can still use it. And then banish 3 cards from the top of your opponent's deck, and then you at least trigger the runic spell so that Fountain can activate. So that's the reason why it's typically good. And in a way, it can almost be an interruption against your opponent in case like he goes like Special Summon Fenrir and then Battle Phase, try to attack, you go, okay, start step of Battle Phase, use Slumber on the Fenrir, now you can't attack. So sometimes weird details like that can really come up. Anyways, 3 Freezing Curses, this is usually the best runic spell, as well as obviously Tip is the best one. But runic Tip, Freezing Curses rather, is a Valor Imperm, so obviously it's a good effect. Flashing Fire destroys a special summon monster upon controls, and then Runic Destruction is kind of like a MST, Mystical Space Typhoon, and Runic Tip searches any of them, so obviously it's destined to be the best runic spell out there. It's a reinforcement of the army, but for spell cards. And finally, 1 Dispelling. This one is... I'm trying to find like an example of a card in Yu-Gi-Oh! That does the same thing, but basically when your opponent searches a card from the deck to the hand, or adds a card, like even from drawing, but except during the draw phase, you can use this card and then at resolution, and your opponent has to discard a random card from the hand, and then banish 2 cards from the top of the deck, because this banishes 2, this banishes 3, this is 3, this is 2, this is 4, and this is 1. So just remember the numbers, because banishing cards from your opponent's deck also matters. You can cripple some strategies with that. Like, you can technically go Runic Tip and then banish the one of Farking Island from your opponent's deck, which can really hurt, by the way, because some people are now playing 1 Farking Island and 1 Farking Sanctuary in their Farking deck. But obviously some people will be going on 2 Island. But you can banish the one of Garunix or the one of Ponix. That would be hilarious. Anyways, finally, 1 Smiting Storm. It's not really for its real effect, but rather just for its instant fusion effect. But the real effect can come up every now and then, but it's better than Golden Droplet. That one's absolute dog shit. But yeah, 40 cards in the main deck, don't play any more than that. Extra deck has one Sleipnir for board breakers, but it's also a level 9 monster, so if your Prisoner Groundkeeper gets stopped, you got a level 1 tuner and a level 9, so you can make Baron de Fleur or anything you want. This is also a dark, this is a light, so you can make a light and dark Chaos Angel using 2 cards through 1 hand trap. That's not too bad. Double Gary, this card is absolutely insane, of course. Double Hugin, you know, it goes without saying, right? And then we've got the Moonin in the side deck. For the Synchro Monsters Chaos Angel, this card's cracked again because it's really easy to summon with a light and a dark. This Bestial Dispatcher, it's especially good with the Bestials, but you can even summon it without if you're using Axial Synchro Starter's Dragon. That's going to be your Dragon non-tuner monster. And then Baron de Fleur, Cheng Ying, Crystal Wing, because you can revive back the Garden Rose Maiden, the Coral Dragon with the Garden Rose Maiden, and then, actually no, sorry, that's not the combo. You summon back the Garden Rose Maiden using the Black Garden, and then use the level 3 tuner Line Walker to make a Crystal Wing, which could negate Nibiru and stuff like that. So it might come up every now and then, or just to be there as, like, just in case, but you can cut it if you want and play something else, honestly. It's not really that necessary. I mean, if anything, you can main deck the Moon instead. But yeah, Axial Synchro, this is actually extremely good. And then Coral Dragon, and of course, Manadome Trilosugda, fantastic card. And finally, Garden Rose Maiden and SP Lone Knight, which might come up every now and then, even though usually you are locked under Fusion and Synchro only, which is the reason why, again, Link monsters are very hard to summon in this deck. Anyways, for the side deck, you really want your side deck to have as many good cards against your bad matchups as possible. And again, the fire decks are not very good matchups for this deck, at least when you're going second. So that's the reason why 3 Nibiru, 3 Droll, absolute necessity. You cannot live without these cards. And then the rest is very customizable. You could have like Duster, Lightning Storm, Evenly is a good one, Phantasme to draw into potential board breakers, Phantasme into like Soul Release could be good, or Phantasme into Evenly would be very bad. That's the reason why if you want to have something for Rescue Ace, for example, Duster would be nice, but again, you can't Phantasme into Lightning Storm. So it's kind of like the same thing. If you want to play something else over Phantasme, you can do that. Soul Release kind of conflicts a little bit with hand traps because the point of hand traps is to prevent your opponent from doing something, and the goal of board breakers, well, the point of board breakers rather is to let your opponent do all kinds of things and then just punish your opponent for doing so at the end, because you're at least dodging like triple tactic talents and stuff. But if you're mixing both, it might not necessarily be ideal. Yeah, it's up to you if you want to play Soul Release and like more board breakers on the side, or just more hand traps overall. You don't necessarily need Ghost Bell because it's especially good against Labyrinth, but Labyrinth should already be a very good matchup. So that's the reason why I wouldn't really panic for that. And then for Purely, you got at least the Flashing Fire, which can destroy the E Purely Noir that's being targeted by the Purely Yeep. But I don't think you've got anything else, so that's kind of problematic actually. If you want something for Purely, you can do that, but I think it's gonna see less play next format because it doesn't really line up well against Farking. And yeah, that's about it for this deck. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know your thoughts about Earthbound Runic in the comment section below. And I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.